Hey, Claire,
Yeah.
just want to let you know, I saw you driving with your dog on your lap about a week ago off of Live Oak, and you didn't have him seatbelted in. So I was going to pull you over, but I figured I wouldn't.
Go ahead next time. Doggy loves those.
Yeah, he was
rides.
looking out the window, kind of. Yeah, is he Yorkie?
He's a mixture. I got him at the rescue center. He's got some beagle, he's got a whole bunch in it. But fun.
Michelle, you here?
I'm here.
I can't find my agenda. Can you email it to me real quick? I think it's just this one item, right?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of slow sometimes. If you could email it to me real quick, please.
At
It's my
DB.
email, but I can't find it. Thank you.
It's coming over now.
Thank you very much.
No problem. How's everybody?
Just outstanding.
Pretty good.
Good.
Now I got it just in time. Thank you. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Right.
All right. I'll wait till it's 2 o'clock on my computer officially. I'm known to rush things sometimes. Okay. I call to order the Budget Advisory Committee meeting virtually on Thursday, October 29th, 2020 at 2 p.m. Roll call, please.
Chair Banther.
Here.
Vice Chair Harrells is absent. Mr. Doddridge. He's muted, but I see him.
Here.
Mr. Kudos.
Here.
Mr. McCloy.
Here.
Ms. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Bergman.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going over these applications for the internal auditor position. Trying to figure out the best way to do this. Mark has, I mean, as far as the commission's direction, is it probably best to go through this like you do on the board when you pick advisory board people, like each person goes and gives their top few or something, or has there been any feedback?
Well, maybe. I mean, the only thing that changed Tuesday night was let me see how they exactly put it. They really, what they wanted to look for you is a ranking, almost what was done in the email of rank. So I think we probably do go around and see if we can get a consensus of the ranking of people you think on that list that the commission should interview, whether it's a list of 3 like was said in the email, or if there's a group of 4 or 5 between all of you. I think we should probably get the ones that each of you think are worthy of interview, and then talk among yourself to see what group you want to send to the commission, whether it's a recommendation of 3, 4, 5, all recommended that would be ranked and that you would recommend them to interview.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I'll start real quick. Just the caveat I would like to give is 2 things. First off, there's several people on this board that have, I think, a great amount of experience as far as working with internal auditors, and hiring. I'm thinking Ms. Hales and some other people. So, you know, when it comes your turn, you know, if you have experience in this, you know, please, you know, make sure that you know, give your honest opinion, because I'll be looking to you all for some direction on that. As far as what I bring to the table with this, you know, this person is going to be reporting to 5 bosses. You know, remember, that's a chartered position. They don't report to the city manager, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. So, you know, I read these applications, and I'll be honest, I was not impressed with most of them as far in regards to what they applied for. But having 5 bosses is much different in reporting to a board than having 1 boss. So I think we should consider that as well when we review these applications. I'll quickly go through my top few. Again, I discounted most of them. In my opinion, Blair Henderson, CPA, is the top. And I chose that because of their is it a him or a her? I guess we don't know. I'll say there, because of their education and their CPA credentials. And when you look at their past work experience with the Hillsborough County Internal Auditor's Office, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Jabil, and Crowe Horwath, it just led to the most experience. Now, how they work with a board of 5 people, I don't know, but their application definitely was the top for me. Next one that I thought could be in the running is Andrew Johnson. Again, this goes back to education and some of his work history. And then the other 2 I saw was Monica Kessel. Again, same principle, education, work history. And then this one cut off at the top, I can't really, I'm not sure what their name is. The middle name looks like to be Lynn. But maybe the deputy can chime in if she has that full name. But again, their education and work history. But in my opinion, you know, if I had to pick my top 4, Blair Henderson's the only one that's fully qualified, in my opinion. So again, I was a little disappointed in some of these applications, which is out of the city's control. Oftentimes in hiring, you get a random assortment when you first put it out there, and then sometimes it takes more rounds or more drilling down. But those are my top 4 with Blair Henderson, a CPA, I think, being the most qualified individual. So,
Mr. Chairman, I think the one you're referring to is Tamara Teague.
yes, that's it. Yeah, that looks
Okay.
good. So Tamara,
That
yes.
was your number 4.
Yes, ma'am. So Blair, I would put Blair as my top one, Andrew as my second, and then Monica and the one you just said would be tied for 3rd, or you could do 3rd or 4th. But those are my top 4. The other ones, to me, just again based off my experience in the city commission and 15 years of this professional work life, I don't see how they would perform in this environment. But again, like I said, there's people on this board that have far more experience than I do as far as working in the financial sector, like you know, Ms. Hales and some other people. So I'm fully open to correction and people's opinion. So I'll go to Vice Chair Hales.
Okay, she's not with us, but if you'd like, I can read her email that she sent.
Please, thank you.
Okay, she sent an email Monday, October 26th, to the chairman and myself. It states I have a work conflict that has arisen and will unable to attend the 1029 budget committee meeting. I did review the applications and would recommend the Board of Commissioners interviewing the following candidates, ranked in order of my overall impression. Her number 1 was Monica Kessel. Her number 2 was Michael Notaro. And her number 3 was Blair Henderson.
All right, very good. So she and I agreed on Blair and Monica, and then she mentioned the other 2. Okay, well, I'm sorry she is not here. I was looking forward to her opinion on that. Okay, I'll go to Mr. McCloy.
Good afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Speaking of the background, former CFO with Bridgestone Firestone Diversified Products Group. So we've dealt with internal auditors before. Just when I got the 9, I kind of had a goal, said if we're screening, I'm going to take it, I'm going to target to get it down to 3. So I'm going to give you 3 here in a second. But to me, this was a very difficult position to fill. The reason why I say that, it reports to the Board of Commissioners. It's not part of a department, finance, or anything in the city. It's a standalone position. So the person must have good communication skills and have the credentials. The other thing that I stayed away from, there were some good candidates that appeared to be more managerial in nature, had several people in the auditing area report to them. I just did not feel that this was a good, comfortable fit for those, because this individual is really a department of one and very hands-on. So he's got to do it all from beginning to end. With that said, keeping in mind, a couple of those candidates I thought were good, but they appeared to be, I have 4 or 5 people reporting to me. That's probably not a good situation. My 3 that I came down with, my top, and I didn't so much rank him, but my top was Blair Henderson. Just had the full package. I will express one concern here. Blair appears to be a little bit of a job hopper. Therefore, I wouldn't be surprised if we're back here a year from now. But qualifications are very, very good. The other 2 that I liked, Zoltan, and the last name is Szucs. And the third, all these challenge money. Why can't there be any Joe Smiths? Balash Thiari, Blash, and the last name Thiari, Theohri. Again, those last 2, a little bit younger in their career and not up and. This is a tough position again to manage. You got to be hands-on this position, because I don't see the internal auditing department of Tarpon Springs going to be a department of 5 in 3 years. So I think somebody might be disappointed as a manager level. They're going to have to work here. That's what I have.
All right, thank you. And again, I was looking to you as well for your experience, Mr. Employee. I'm going in no particular order. I'm going by my Zoom screen here, so forgive me. Ms. Hall, you want to give us your top few candidates here? Again, I know you work in banking or something above my pay grade, so I'm interested in your thoughts as well.
No, thank you, and apologize for the background noise. My dogs are trying to vote for their candidate as well. Yeah, and I do, I'm in banking, but I more serve in the compliance function, but we do interface with internal audit on a regular basis. But again, as Claire mentioned, this is entirely different. It would be kind of, one person does it all, no direct reports. So a little different in that respect. So I did sort of rank them. It was a difficult exercise given the diversity of experience, and also some of the candidates being from out of town. I assume that they would relocate. So just with that in mind, I did have Blair Henderson as the top pick, followed by Monica Kiesel, Tamara Teague, and Zoltan as number 4 for mine. Thank you. Back to you.
Great, thank you, Ms. Hall. Okay, next on my Zoom screen, I call you Melody. I know that's not your proper name, but Mr. Koros. So if you want to give, or I'm sure I said that wrong too, but you want to give us your top few?
Yeah, of course. So I reviewed the applications, and I agree. Blair Henderson has the credentials in regards to being with Hillsborough County, and he has the experience we're looking for. I'm concerned with the time he's spent at each job, but in regards to the other credentials, he would be my number one, followed by Monica Kessel and Vlash Thilhari, it looks like, or Thilhari. So those would be my three. And it appeared that Blair, out of all the applications reviewed, he was the only one that had experience in governmental or internal auditing, it seemed.
Right, thank you very much. Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Mr. Bergman, you want to give us your top?
Yeah, I was a little taken aback by some of the applications as you were. In many cases, because I'm both a pharmacist and an MBA, I'm more qualified than some of these people who applied for the position. My rankings, I have I shouldn't say Mr. I have Blair Henderson first, then I have Monica Kessel, then I have Thihari, then I have Monica Teague. Now, my biggest concern about Monica Teague, looking at her application, one is she only listed one reference rather than three, and the salary she requested is higher than the range specified.
All right.
Mr. Gershman, can you repeat your third one?
Thihari, Theohari.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Attorney Ryan Doddridge, you want to give us your top few there?
Yeah. So I was most impressed by Blair's as well. She was my top pick. I really liked how she took the initiative to go through the charter and requirements and really get detailed. I thought that was really impressive. I share Claire's concern though about longevity. She doesn't stay at many jobs very long. I think you definitely want to approach this position like it's a long-term marriage. So that's a big red flag for me for her. Then I liked Vlash, Theohari, Zoltan Shooks. And then I also liked Kessel. And the thing about Kessel that impressed me, kind of the opposite of Blair, was her longevity. The one thing about her is that, higher salaries, and I think you're going from private sector to public sector could be a challenge, but that's a trade-off for a lot of people too.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm definitely seeing a trend here, which is good. I think that's it as far as my Zoom screen goes. Did I leave out anybody? I think we're all good. All right. I think our next step, number 2, is recommendation to Board of Commissioners. So, I think there's a pretty good consensus, at least for the top 2, especially with Blair and Monica. And there was, I think, one other person that was mentioned several times. So, Michelle, do you have a synopsis of all our recommendations?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Well, six out of 7 of you have Blair Henderson ranked as number 1. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3. And then 3 out of the 7 have Monica Kessel second. 1. And then it goes for a second choice. It's between Zoltan Shooks and Theohari. And then your third choice it's between Theohari and Shooks, or however you pronounce it.
Mark, I assume the board would want our top 3. I know there's been some back and forth, and sorry, I got a little lost in the back and forth as far as what they want. They want our top 3, top 2.
Mark, you're muted.
I would say, but if there's enough people that had a fourth candidate on there also,
Well,
you know,
Monica Kessel would be the fourth one.
So Blair's the top one, right? Was Blair
Yeah.
Mitchell first?
Yes.
And who was the second again, Michelle?
I didn't write it down. Give me 1 second.
well,
It was it's Monica Kessel, Lahari or Theohari, and then Zooks. They're all tied because each one of you had them second and third.
So we have Blair for the top, and everyone's
Yes.
kind of tied for second and third. Well, I mean,
That's the clear choice one on that one.
okay.
I think we ought to look though where you had them ranked, who was on the list. For instance, I would say the number 2 one is Monica Kessler because I think she was on everybody's but one list, either 1, 2, or 3. So we kind of got to look on your 1, 2, 3, and 4 where they're on the list. And I think she only missed one person's list. So although some she was 2, some she was 3, some she was 4,
Right.
pretty much she was on everybody's list.
So we'll do Blair, and again, we're going to get consensus to make sure my thoughts here are, and the board has to agree on this. It's not just me. So Blair's number 1, Monica's number 2, and we can stress to the Board of Commissioners that 2, 3, and 4 are pretty close. It's not like we're saying one's absolutely better than the other. Monica's number 2. Who could be number 3, Michelle? 3 and 4?
1, 2, 2, 3. You had 3 of you had Theohari,
Yeah.
number 3.
We'll just call him Theo because I can't say whatever that is.
Okay.
Theo, and then who's number 4? Who was the other one?
That was between Teague and Sooks. It was split.
Did somebody else say T besides myself?
I had Teague for number 3.
Yeah.
My number 3, and I think also
Mr. Bergman had Teague as number 4.
Okay.
And Ryan, Mr. Dodgers had, no, she didn't have that one. Hall, she had that one. Banther, you had Teague as number 4.
Mhm.
So
I only said 3, but Teague would be my,
Okay.
Tamara Teague would be my number 4 also.
All right. So with that, should
I
we put?
apologize. I thought we were doing, I thought at first 3 and then I had the 4 here. So she's,
So we do Blair, Monica, Theo, and T.
Let me just throw one, because I think you should put on the positive and the negative. The one headache, or maybe 2 headaches with Monica, she's right at the top end of the salary range according to the job description, 98,600. She's at the very top end. She does have a lot of experience. She's been working for 30 years. I'm just, again, concerned with this, that she has people reporting to her. So as a standalone, it might not be that good of a fit. So
That's good to note. In my opinion, again, I hope the commissioners are watching and/or do watch this meeting. But it's definitely their job to get way deep in the weeds. But I think we have some good recommendations here. So Blair, Monica, Theo, Michelle. Did more people? Who had more votes, Teague or the Zook?
1, 2. 4. 1, 2, 2, 3. Teague had more votes than Zooks.
Well, then yeah. So I guess if we did a top 4, it's Blair, Monica, Theo, and Teague, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
I mean, we give 5, but I think we should limit it to 4. Is everyone okay with that? To have Blair, Monica, Theo, and Teague? Is there any disagreement on that? And we'll stress that after number 2, especially, number 3 and number 4 are very close. It's not like one's, outstandingly better in our opinion. Is there any disagreement on that?
No, I agree.
I agree as well.
I agree.
I'm good. Okay, Mark, you think that's acceptable format to give to the city commissioners, just our top four with all those disclaimers?
Muted. Nope. No, I think you did a great job, and I think that's perfect to give them.
Okay, again, make sure, just ask them to watch it because some people gave some good commentary about, I think Monica was top of the salary, Blair's hopped around a bit, which is all normal in reviewing applications. That's nothing new, but it's important.
Yeah, we'll make sure we send the commission the link to this meeting and stuff so they can watch it and listen, because y'all had good input and good, talks about all the candidates, even like a lot of times number one or number two doesn't work out because of many reasons, like you don't think they're going to stay here more than a year or other reasons and stuff. So that all has to be taken in consideration. I think all of your thoughts that you give is also going to be helpful for them when they actually decide to interview, because where they'll get, if they go with a list, they'll be able to find all those things out in the interview. And you've given them a lot of information of your concerns and your thoughts that the commission should be able to use in their interview process when they interview these people to make their final decision. So we will send that link because I think they need all the valuable information that you gave on the candidates today.
Okay, perfect. All right. Is there any further comments before I go to the final, all the public comment stuff or anything? Everybody good? Yeah. Do we have any public comments?
If anyone would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand and you'll be allowed in to talk. And we do not have any raised hands at this time, sir.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any staff comments? Michelle, Chief, Mark, Finance Department? Or Chief Emeritus, as I call him.
Since I do have one comment about the November meeting.
Okay.
Since we had this one, do you see, I don't know if Ron or city manager have to weigh in on this unless it gets closer?
I don't see a need for a meeting unless the Board of Commissioners and or Mark or Ron have a reason for us to meet. We'll certainly meet if they want us to, but I don't see a reason to meet beyond that.
That's what I'd say too. They will be dealing with this on the 10th. So if there's something the 10th, I'd say unless there's something the 10th they want you to go back and do, we wouldn't have anything ready on our end of other issues by that time. We won't have the year ends or stuff quite done. So unless the commission the 10th wants to task you on something else, I would say we'd not have a meeting on November.
I'm going to be at that meeting, Mark. That's an in-person meeting, right, Mark? On the 10th,
Yes.
Public welcome.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be there at that meeting.
It'll also be it will be available for Zoom. We're going to also allow the public for Zoom for a while because there's still a lot of people who don't want to come to the meeting place and stuff. So it will be a dual live and Zoom meeting for anybody else who wants to, watch it by Zoom. It will be available there too.
All right, perfect. Excellent. Okay, so we will wait what the commissioners say on the 10th as far as our next meeting. We're kind of in our off season right now. Board staff, are there any board comments? Any other board members have anything to say? No? Okay. Our next meeting, we just discussed that, it's TBD. Do you have any future agenda items people want to put on our next meeting whenever that's going to be? Okay. We will adjourn at 2:26 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.